Hey y'all, hey, so we're back with another video. So I'm gonna be honest. I'm always all over the place with my videos, but I'm really gonna be all over the place with this because I promise this is my last, I'm serious. This is going to be my last time addressing Kendrick versus Drake. Unless there is a round two, which I highly doubt that will happen. But unless there is a round two, when I mean round two, I mean an absolute going back and forth like they did before. Subs, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I've been not caring since the last video I put up about this shit. But we're gonna have this conversation one last time, at least on my channel, and I swear I'm not talking about it no more. I'm only talking about the individual's music. So when the P&D album drop with Drake on Friday tomorrow, I'll talk about that. If Kendrick decides to drop another album, which I doubt he do, but if he do, I'll talk about that. That's it. This is my last time addressing Kendrick and Drake and that whole thing. That's it. After the Super Bowl, I felt like that was the benediction. We're done. I know we're not done because people still running their mouth. I wasn't even mad because I'm like, okay, he did the Super Bowl. I knew that the rest of this week was going to be like around the Super Bowl and how whatever Drake did afterwards. But we're fine now, right? This is it. So, a couple of things I want to touch on here. So, let's start off with talking about the actual Super Bowl itself. Let me say this. I'm going to say this. It was okay. And I think the problem with specifically the internet is that people take the word mid and make it mean bad. So in internet language, it's either fire or it's trash. And when people say mid, they automatically like put that in the category of trash. I cannot stand the internet. I'm telling you, I cannot stand social media because there's no gray area. It has to be all black or all white and nothing in the middle when life is a fucking spectrum. My personal opinion, I thought that the Super Bowl done by Kendrick Lamar, I thought it was okay. Is it the best Super Bowl I've ever saw? Hell no. Is it the worst Super Bowl I've ever seen? Hell no. Cause I think Rory brought this up. Katy Perry's Super Bowl was fucking terrible. It was so bad. So, no, but is it my favorite one? No. But it wasn't the worst one either. That's just how it was okay. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that it was okay. That's all it was. It was all right. It was all right? So when it first came on, right, mind you, thank you, God knew me. He knew, because I literally woke up at 8:22. Literally, when I woke up, like, they was going into the commercial, like, I think it was like a Charmin or Andrew Saw commercial where it was like, you could run to the bathroom real fast before it start, which I thought was really, really cute, right? But as soon as it started and I saw the layout, which was like the controller, I said, oh, no way. Because if you was on Twitter or whatever the last like couple of weeks or whatever, Kendrick Lamar's performance leaked. So there was a picture up of like the actual setup or whatever, and then the track list had like the set list had leaked as well. But at the time, everybody was like, I don't know, because like that can't be real, because first of all, it don't even have All Right in it. Like it was mostly nothing but GNX song. So everybody's like, that's not possible because it's the Super Bowl. Like I said, All Right wasn't even in there. And then the whole thing of like, oh, he's gonna be teasing whether or not he's doing Not Like Us. People felt like, nah, he wouldn't do that. Baby, the minute that I think Bodies came on and then Squabble Up. When Squabble Up came on, I said, oh bitch, it's real. The leak was real. Crazy. I don't know how that happened. That's never a Super Bowl set list and the staging that has never leaked before. That's crazy. And I feel bad. I do. I feel bad for Kendrick and I feel bad for everybody that put that together to have that leak. Academics, I think, did it. You could suck a dick. You're terrible for doing that. But he did Bodies. That was cool. Ooh, let me say real fast too. Shout out to Keita the Great. And I don't know what his real name is, but on Instagram, because I follow him, his name is Taiwan Williams or whatever. I am so happy for those people. Those are dancers, if y'all don't know. I love Keita so much. I've been watching Keita since he was like a kid on So You Think You Can Dance Kids. I watched him on all his like little YouTube ones. The third time I watched that performance, I saw Keita's face pop up. I said, there's no way that That's my date. That's like my little cousin. I was so excited for Keita. Shout out to Keita. But yeah, he did Bodies. I think that he went into Squad Beloved. You know, he did a little bit of this. He did do Humble, and he did DNA. And then he went right back into GNX. And then SZA came out. They did All the Stars, and they did Luther. Let me be clear about something. What was the first song that they did? Was it All the Stars? She was lip sync. Melissa Ford was like, her mic was on. No, the fucker was not, Melissa. No, it was not. I am here to tell you, her mic was not on. Now, I can't speak for like the Luther part or whatever, but was it? I can't think. Whenever they first showed her, whatever song that was when they first showed her, which might have been Luther, I think actually, her mic was not on. No, it was not. And I'm tired of y'all. Her mic was not on. Now, maybe for All the Stars, but for Luther, it wasn't. Go back and watch that performance. Her mic was not on. That's okay. That's okay. Still love SZA. But yeah, I thought that the performance was okay. Really, just that real. I am one of those people who felt like I enjoyed the pop-up, at least that set list, better than I did the set list for this. And that's just simply because I'm not really into GNX. My favorite song off the GNX, which is the only song I really listen to, is TV Off. So I was super excited when he did that. I will spin the block like 4 times to listen to TV Off. That is my shit. What a good fucking song. I love that song. Yeah, I mean, I thought, y'all get in the comments, what did y'all think? What if y'all had to give it out of 10, what did y'all give it? I gave it a 7. Now let's talk about some shit, right? Let's talk about the reception, I guess, to it, right? So far it's been very down the middle. This is one of the few times with Kendrick I've seen shit be down the middle, surprisingly. You have one side who feels like it was the best thing since sliced bread. It was so good or whatever, like it went over y'all heads, which I'm gonna talk about that in a second. And then you got the other side who says, like I said, the internet's black and white. It was the worst Super Bowl performance that ever happened. I was so bored. I went to sleep. So let me attack all points, right? So let's talk about the people who said it was the best thing ever. No, the hell it was not. No, it was not. No, it was not. And one of the main things that y'all tell me, Kendrick fans, not Kendrick. Let me be clear. I am not talking about Kendrick. I'm talking about Kendrick fans. Kendrick fans are starting to be up there with like the Barbs and stuff, because it's starting to be absolutely ridiculous. Like I don't think people realize that. Y'all know a fan base can turn somebody off from somebody. Like the Barbs, I mean, Nicki herself has turned people away from her, but the Barbs in particular help that, you know? And I feel like Kendrick fans are starting to get to that point too. Y'all are just, oh my gosh. The only like outwardly like at least person on YouTube that I can take that's a Kendrick Lamar fan is FD Signifier, because he keeps it right down the middle. He don't overdo it. He gives him, I mean, of course he makes like a little, like, you know, sometimes he's hyperbolic in his stuff, but for the most part he keeps it down the middle, so I can like appreciate that type of fan. But the rest of y'all is too much. The dick riding is insane. It's too much. And I am tired, in particular, of Kendrick fans. And it's not just with the Super Bowl. Y'all been doing this forever. The minute that somebody says that they don't like something by Kendrick, you wanna know what they say? It went over y'all head. It went over y'all head. It went over y'all head. No. How about, is it possible, I just want to ask Kendrick fans, is it possible that I fully understood what the message was and I still wasn't all the way entertained? That's what they seem to think. They think that you can't get that message and also feel like, okay, but it wasn't entertaining. Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter is the GOAT, not just because of, if we talk about her artistry, she's always pushing the envelope and doing all of this stuff. But Beyonce has a message in her like performances always. But you want to know what she also does that makes her the greatest of all time? It's entertaining. It's entertaining. Beyonce could tell us everything in the world, but if it's not entertaining, who would give a fuck? And that's what I feel like some people are trying to say about this performance, is that they were not entertained. And the rebuttal to not being entertained is, it went over y'all head. Y'all didn't get the message. I did get the fucking message. The message is it's a lot of messages all over the place. Obviously, you got Samuel L. Jackson playing Uncle Sam. We understand. We get that. Oh, it's a whole thing of like, you got to play the game. I think it's a combination of him playing the game as himself, him playing the game as a rapper, him playing the game as a black man in America. I think it was all of those things. Like when he was like, you know, he did like Bodies and then that first half. And then Uncle Sam was like, no, that's too ghetto. Like, you need to tighten up. So then he went into doing what are his more like commercial, you know, hits, which is Humble and DNA, right? So then Sam was like, oh, okay, like, good. Like, I'm glad that you know, that you tightened up a little bit. And then towards the end, he was like, well, this is great, but, you know, you better not do that song. And then he starts Not Like Us, whatever, right? I got it. I understand what Kendrick was doing. I understand the message. I really do. Even down to, like, the Bloods and the Crips and trying to make, you know, like, a flag, which what I will say is that for white people, that part went over their head. The whole, oh, there's an American flag, that went over your head. Got it. But all of that being got, and I understand all of that, I personally still felt like it was okay. You see how I can understand that message and get it, and then still also feel like got it, but I still wasn't thoroughly entertained. I'm not gonna hold you. I want to say maybe once he got into like the SZA part, I'm like, yo, what is happening right now? Like I was so confused. I'm like, bro, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. It wasn't until he got into Not Like Us and TV Off that I really felt like, oh yes, he's killing it. But prior to that, it was not for me. And again, and I get it. The blackness that was on display, the rapping, I get all of that. And all of that can be great. And people still feel like it was not entertaining. So I swear to gosh, if I see one more Kendrick fan say that, I'm going to lose it. It went over y'all head. It went over your head. Everything is not going over everybody's head. People are just not entertained. And that's okay. So that's that side. Let's get to the people that say that it was the worst thing. Y'all are motherfucking lie if y'all try to say that. Y'all think that was the worst half bowl performance? Like I said, go back and watch Katy Perry. There's a lot of people that are much worse than Kendrick Lamar. Didn't have as much intention, if we want to talk about like the artistry part, didn't have nearly as much like intention or anything like that behind it. Now, what I will say is that Kendrick is probably the first person to do the Super Bowl and not do his hits like that. I feel like the Pop-Out show and that set list like matched more up with the Super Bowl than what he did. But to try to say that, oh, that was the worst halftime performance of all time, it was just so trash. No, the fuck it wasn't. And y'all are doing way too much. Like I said, for him to be able to have the breath control that he did, for him to be able to go from here to 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 here, the fact that even though his shit leaked, he still decided to do it. The fact, like, it was everything was intentional. It was really, really, like I said, not my favorite, but we're not going to sit up here and act like it was just a trash ass performance. That's what we're not going to do. We're not. And y'all know, y'all know how I give it up over here on this channel about Kendrick. But we're not going to sit up here and try to make it seem like it was the worst thing in the world, that it was just so bad and just, oh my gosh, who the hell, like, it wasn't that bad. Calm the hell down. Calm the hell down. Right? Now that we got that shit the fuck out the way. What else should we talk about here? Because it's a lot of different ways I can go with this performance, right? Okay, let's talk about the fact that he decided to do G and X, right? Mostly. Here's the thing. And this didn't really hit me until like Tuesday when I was buying my tickets for Beyonce. That whole performance was a commercial. And this is just, again, if I'm getting into my job and my marketing bag, that was just a big ass commercial for their tour. You got to remember, Kendrick and SZA are going on a stadium, not arena, a stadium tour. Okay? Starting, sometime this summer? Let me see. Let me go to Ticketmaster right now. Ticketmaster. The point of the matter is that they're going on tour, right? And I believe that the tour starts very, very soon. I think the seats might have already, I think like maybe everything might have went on sale or whatever. But, let me see. I'm sorry. I'm trying to look here. So April 19th is their first date. So they're going to be in Minneapolis, and they're going from April 19th all the way until June 18th. Okay. So like about a 2-month little like stadium tour. That was to sell tickets. That was the whole purpose of, to me, why he did GNX. It's because I have a stadium tour coming up and I need to sell. I need to like give people a reason to want to come, which is another reason why he brought SZA. I will say this though. This is something that people did say that I agree with. I do wish that SZA, I wish that SZA would have had like, I don't want to say a little bit more time, but it does feel like SZA was like an afterthought. It didn't really see the point of her being on the stage. I would have thought that like maybe like kind of like in the past Super Bowls where like when you bring somebody up, you normally like give them like a little quick 2 to 3 minute set to do their own thing, and then maybe y'all do y'all songs together. It would have been nice if he let like her do what would have been a good song for SZA to do? Bitch, not Snooze, because Snooze is too slow. Maybe Low, because that's a little bit more energetic. And then, I don't know, something from Control. Like, I don't care if it was like Broken Clocks or The Weeknd, but it should have been something. I feel like she should have got her own little set. Now, I called my mama, right? My mama is 45. My mama had me when she's a teenager, that's why. I called my mom. I asked my mom, I said, what did you think about the concert? The Super Bowl. She was like, it's all right. It was all right. And I explained, that they're going on tour. I said, so as somebody, because my mom is very aware of who Kendrick is. My dad really likes that GNX album, so she's heard it a decent amount. She likes SZA a little bit. She doesn't like that Weeknd song, but real quick side story. One time my mom was like, this is years ago. She was like, that Weeknd song? I said, yeah, that's my song. She was like, I can't stand that song. Why are you trying to be a side piece or whatever? I don't like that girl is singing about that. But you want to know what song I do like? Why can't she be like the girl who sing love? I said, love galore? I said, that is SZA. She was like, no. I'm talking about the love. I said, mommy, that's the same people. She was like, oh, well, why she ain't do that? That's hilarious. But anyway. I asked my mom, I was like, so after watching that, would that make you want to go to a tour? She said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now, my mom's 45, so that doesn't really mean much of nothing. But in my opinion, I don't think, I'm trying to compare. I don't want to compare it to Beyonce, but I don't really have much of a choice because if I'm being fair, right? The Christmas Bowl or whatever, the Beyonce Bowl, right? That was nothing but Cowboy Carter, right? Beyonce has a tour that she's coming up doing. Then Kendrick does the Super Bowl. He has also a tour too. I can honestly say that when Beyonce was done with her performance, I saw a lot, and I mean a lot of people say, bitch, I didn't even care for that album, but now I may have to go back and listen after that performance, or I didn't give a fuck about that album, but after she performed, I might have to go to the tour. That's what you want. You want people, because that is not for, it's for people. It's obviously for your fan base, but it's really for the casual fan who may not necessarily give a fuck to look for you or to go out and see you. That Cowboy Carter thing, that was to sell her tour, to be like, bitch, you might not like that album, but look how I'm going to perform it, bring your ass, which is why it was 50, 60, 70,000 people on cue. I don't know if that performance pushed people to want to go get tickets. That's how I'm judging his Super Bowl. I'm not even judging it off of a Super Bowl or whether or not it was good. I don't care about that, because to me, that was not the premise. I don't think the goal of this was, okay, let's make sure that we put on a iconic, memorable, record-breaking top. I'm pretty sure from the execs that's what they wanted, but I'm pretty sure Kendrick and his team, that was not their goal. Because if so, you could have just literally, like I said, used the set from the pop-up list. And I want to say, I'm really, really offended by his set list, because where the fuck was King Kunta? King Kunta is my favorite Kendrick song. And the fact that I didn't get to hear King Kunta, it don't sit right in my spirit. But anyway, I think that was Kendrick's team's goal. We need to put on a good ass performance to have the casual listener or casual fan want to go to you and SZA's concert. I need y'all to understand something. Selling out a stadium is not small pickles. It's not easy to sell out a stadium. It's not. Which is why Kendrick had to grab SZA to kind of help. And like, and that's, and I know people try to say that to like shade him, but that's not shade. There's not but so many people. Name how many rappers you know that could just sell out, that could sell out a stadium. And I know like on the Joe Budden podcast that Ice was saying he doesn't believe that Drake can. I mean, maybe not today he can't, but like God's plan, Drake could absolutely sell out a stadium. Now, could he handle a stadium show? Probably not, because he doesn't give that type of performance. But would it be filled up? Absolutely. So with that being said, I feel like the Super Bowl performance for Kendrick was just a very big, broad commercial for the GNX tour. And like I said, to me, who cares about like whatever, at least to me, I wouldn't care about what people are saying about like, I mean, I guess that's not true. Now, let me back up for a second. You do want to kind of monitor the responses and the feedback from the Super Bowl performance, because then that's going to kind of give you a gauge of like how you're probably like going to kind of sell, like, you know, like how your tickets are going to sell, whatever. So from that standpoint, yeah, obviously I would keep an eye on it, but I would just say personally, this is just a personal thing to me. I don't think that if I never saw Kendrick Lamar before, that performance would sell me on going to a stadium tour. It would not. And that's just me, though. That's just me. I wasn't going anyway, mostly because I'm not the biggest Kendrick fan. I know the hits, but I don't really like know his stuff well enough. But to be fair, I watched Kendrick's Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. I like on Sundays, I tend to like watch concert footage like on YouTube. That's literally what I do. It's that, and I watch battle rap. That's what I do on Sundays. And so maybe like, I don't know, a couple months ago, like this is before like the beef happened. Sometime early last year, I had saw that, like I was like, oh, okay. I was like, let me just click on it. I'm like, I don't give two shits really about, I know the hits, but I was like, let me just click on the Kendrick show to see what it's like. Now that, and mind you, that was just somebody in a crowd, like, and this is when he's like in an arena filming. That shit made me want to go. And I didn't know a lot of the fucking songs, but I knew the songs that I needed to know. That made me want to go to a Kendrick show. I was like, bruh, if this is how y'all are rocking in a Kendrick show and this is how he's performing, I would love to go. I feel like that was more of a better understanding, not understanding, but like way of like me wanting to go than like the Super Bowl performance. So that's just that on that, right? We'll see once the tour. Honestly, I don't care, because I'm not gonna be, I know the Drake stands will definitely be paying attention, and the Kendrick stands will be paying attention. I won't be paying attention to whether or not these stadiums sell out. I think it's going to be an uphill battle, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. Because like I said, I just bought my tickets to go see Beyonce. I went to go get my tickets on Tuesday during the Beehive pre-sale. I will be in DC to go see her. But I thought about it. I said, hold on. Let me stop for a second. Bitch, Beyonce is on tour. Kendrick and SZA are on tour. Bitch, The Weeknd is about to go on tour. That's competition. Like, I'm so sorry. I didn't think about it until I bought my tickets the other day. I said, yo, Kendrick and SZA are going to have to compete with Beyonce and The Weeknd this summer. It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough because when it comes to Beyonce, as we know, them tickets is already going to be high. And a lot of times people go to multiple shows when it comes to Beyonce. You got to understand, like her stands go to multiple shows. So it's like, do I go to multiple Beyonce shows, or do I go to one Beyonce show and one Kendrick SZA show? Most people that are in the hive are going to choose to go to Beyonce. And then it's like with The Weeknd is such like a global fucking massive superstar. His shit's going to be a lot too. I am concerned. I did not think about this until the day before yesterday. I am concerned. That's a lot of competition that they have going on a stadium tour. Beyonce stadium tour starts in May. Y'all start in April. Y'all are all going to be on the road at the same time. And the way that this economy is set up, I don't know. The tickets for the Kendrick and SZA show, they're going to have to be low. Like, there's nothing else the only way that this is going to work is if they make like, okay, so I'm going to go to, so their very first, let's do Houston, right? Let's do Houston for Kendrick and SZA. So their show in Houston is Wednesday, April 23rd. I'm just interested in seeing the ticket prices because what's going to have to happen, like I said, for them to like be able to do what they need to do and sell out and all of that other stuff, the tickets are going to have to drop like immensely. Yeah. See, that's about right. See, they want to stack to sit on the pit. Like there's so many tickets that's still on the floor. And this is not me to be shady, but I'm just like, I want to show y'all something, right? So this is the, can y'all see? Okay, so this is the April 23rd. Oh, crap. I need to get my, there we go. This is the April 23rd show for Kendrick and SZA. Y'all see how much shit is still on the floor, right? Y'all see how many tickets is still left in the building? And I think that's going to be because people are prioritizing. Especially if we talk about Houston. Bitch, Beyonce is coming. And Beyonce goes to Houston. Let me see. So Kendrick and them go April 23rd. Beyonce is going to be in Houston in June. People going to have to make hard decisions. And I'm just thinking about it. Them prices are going to have to be dirt cheap because again, you are now asking people to make a decision. People ain't going to be able to afford to go to all of these concerts. You're going to either have to be a very, 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 very big Kendrick fan, a very, 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 very big SZA fan, or like you just really ain't have nothing to do that day. You got a couple dollars and you can kind of jump in. So I am a little concerned, not because, like I said, it's hard enough for a rapper to sell out something. It's hard enough for R&B act like Beyonce, if you're not Beyonce, to sell something out like that. I would be stressed out if I was them. I would be completely stressed out. If I heard, I'm pretty sure they already knew because I'm pretty sure Jay-Z probably gave him a heads up. If I knew that Beyonce was going to be on tour the same time as me on my life, I would just be like, let's push it back. Let's just push it the fuck back. So, yeah, so that's the whole thing about the GNX tour. Let's talk about Joe for a second because y'all know I gotta be talking about Joe. You know, Joe backpedaled and pussy popped in a handstand like we all knew he was going to do. Because if y'all don't know, on the Joe Budden podcast, like last week or whatever, Ice had brought up the fact, about the whole thing being leaked. And Joe sat up there and said, y'all people on the internet is stupid if y'all believe that. Y'all are dumb. Y'all need to come up with something that's better. First of all, I could tell whoever put that together ain't black because All Right ain't even in there. And if that's his set list, I'm turning it off. I don't want to hear it. Who the fuck wants to hear a man in a garden in the Super Bowl? I'm not believing none of that. And that and then some is what he said, right? He went on a whole ass rant about it. When the Super Bowl happened, of course, people in the JBT community on Twitter is like, oh, we'll see. There was bets going on about whether or not Joe was going to keep the same energy or not. We all knew that he wasn't. We knew that he wasn't because he don't do that shit no more. Especially not when it comes to this whole Kendrick and Drake thing. He never keeps the same fucking energy. And what happened when he got on the show the other day? He backpedaled and pussy popped. Oh, I was wrong. And it's just like, Joe brings this up all the time and it's true. He's like, why do women, they always like, oh, the disrespect. The apology needs to be as loud as the disrespect. Absolutely. And that's all that we were saying. He's like, oh, y'all all online trying to kill me or whatever. So what? I was wrong. But I didn't know that he was going to put it together like that. And I still didn't care for the set list, but it was just so blackety black. And if I would have expected him to do something, if I would have knew that, then I wouldn't have said the same things. Okay, so here's the thing. Number one. Like somebody said, multiple people said, it's not just the fact that you said that you didn't like the set list. You went the fuck off about that set list and how trash it was. So we would assume or would hope that you would keep the same energy when he actually does that exact set list. That's all people are telling you is to keep the same energy, Joseph, because you don't. If you be so loud, like people say, about the disrespect, but then when you're wrong, you're so fucking quiet. Just admit it. I at least appreciate, shout out to Ice. Ice was the only person there, for real, that was keeping it real. I mean, Ish didn't say anything, which I'll get into in a second. But Ice kept it real. He said, I did not like the set list, period. I thought I got the messaging. I got that it was supposed to be this, that, and the third, but I did not like the set list. He just kept it a buck. And Joe was like, I mean, I didn't like the set list, but it was so this. And let's talk about the whole thing of Joe talking about, oh, if I would have knew it was going to be so blackety black and that he was going to do that on that stage. But this is my whole thing. This is my whole thing, Joseph. What else did you expect Kendrick to do? Kendrick's whole thing, his whole career has been being, I'm black, y'all, I'm bliggity, bliggity, bliggity black. Literally. So I'm not understanding how you're like, oh, I didn't expect. What the hell did you expect him to do? It's Black History Month and it's Kendrick. You didn't expect him to do some blackity black shit? That means that so that means that you're not a fan of Kendrick, or you never have paid attention to him. Kendrick always does that. That is his whole, it's his shtick. His shtick is the black empowerment shtick. So what made you think that he wasn't going to try to do some blackity black ass shit on the Super Bowl? That doesn't even make sense to me. Like, just excuses. And then like when it comes to Ebro, I've already went back and forth with Ebro before on Twitter about him and his dumbass fucking opinions. But he was like, oh, something like Drake has a sickness, and it's the sickness that, you know, why Kendrick was telling him he needs to go and look in the mirror. This is my whole thing. I'm gonna wrap Ebro and Joe up in the same thing, and a lot of all you media people, other than Wayno. Shout out to Wayno, because I just watched his YouTube video on this. Shout out to Wayno, because he said the facts of the facts. Y'all are going past music. You niggas in the media have something, not all of y'all, but a lot of y'all have something personal against Drake. Elliot Wilson does because he didn't give him a fucking interview. Joe does because of their constant back and forth. Ebro does because of whatever. And y'all literally take your own personal bias and then spread it out into the world and try to make it seem like, oh no, I'm just giving an objective point of view. No, the fuck you're not. No, you're not. Because all of y'all, all three of y'all, them people that I just named, are taking it way past it. Like I said, I feel like similar to how I feel about Meg is how I feel about Drake when it comes to Joe. Don't talk about them then, because it's clear that you cannot stay down the middle. So how about you just stop talking about them altogether? And then, but when Joe was on the pod or whatever, Drake on his Finsta had posted like, you know, like this video of like Joe walking out. Mind you, it ain't no words on it. It's literally just a video of Joe. And Joe, because I guess he had just seen it, like started to crash out on a pod like, you're dead. You're a corpse. You're a corpse. Don't try to come for me when you're ice cold, but you didn't want to come for me when you wasn't cold. First of all, let me break that down a couple of ways. First of all, you said that don't try to come talk to me when you're ice cold because you didn't want to before. What are you talking about? Pump it up. She got a good head on me, but I pumped it up. You a one hit wonder. They know all my stuff. They made me turn into it. I turned into the nigga that you almost was. What are we talking about? That's when Drake was Drake, and he came at you then. What are we talking about? Like, we're not going to try to make it seem like it's just like Drake is just only coming for Joe and it's only right now or whatever when he ain't got nothing going on. Drake and Joe have been going back and forth for years. When Drake was the hottest, he mentioned Joe's name. When he's now at his lowest, he mentioned Joe's name. So stop the, oh, you only trying to come for me when you cold. Because that's a lie. Y'all been going back and forth for fucking years. When he was at the top and when you was at the top, y'all was going back and forth. When he was at the top and you was on the bottom, he was still making little slick remarks. That's just the relationship that y'all have. So like, cut the shit, okay? Second of all, you talking about a dead body, a dead corpse, but you keep talking about him. This is the thing that kills me about all of y'all, especially it's people in the media. Y'all claim this man is so dead, but then y'all keep talking about him. If somebody is dead, bitch, y'all talk about Drake more than y'all did Irv Gotti. Like, let's really talk about it. Let's really have a conversation. Y'all talk more about a quote unquote corpse, okay, than you did actually somebody who's actually dead. You want to know what you do when somebody is dead and they're done? You give them their flowers. You say that you're sorry that they're gone. And that's that. I'm not understanding. Like, Joe loves to try to paint this picture, like, especially now, like, oh, Drake is just so done. He's just so done. So my thing is, if he's so done, then why keep talking about him? You want to know why? Because regardless of the situation, his name rings bells. It does. As far as bringing in y'all viewership, that's what happened. Joe didn't even pop off for real his podcast until that views ran. And Joe himself last year said, I gotta find the clip, but he said himself, yeah, y'all want me to stop talking about Drake, or Drake wants me to stop talking about him. I'm never going to stop talking about him because I make the most money when I talk about you. And he even said, I make more money talking about y'all niggas than I do talking to y'all. So yet again, so let's reel it on back. So you're allowed, because it's your job, to sit around and talk about him. And again, it's one thing if you're just talking about music, but you take it past that every single time. And then people are just not supposed to say nothing. That's the problem with y'all media now. Y'all think that y'all can just say whatever y'all want to say about people. And I really don't be on Nicki's side about a lot of shit, but she's right about that. Nicki and Cardi are both right. Media thinks that they can just run their mouths about people, and because I'm the celebrity, I'm just supposed to sit back and say nothing. Now, if you want to critique my work. Cool. But then y'all niggas, Joe, Ebro, y'all start getting into personal shit about people and then think that they're not allowed to fucking feel some type of way. No. You say all you do every week, Joe. All Joe does every week. There has not been 1 week so far since this battle has started that he has not talked about Drake, even when it's about Kendrick. And that's my biggest problem. He is so dead. But even when it's about Kendrick, y'all make the conversation about Drake every fucking time. Every time. So, if that's how you feel, Joseph, he's dead and he's cold, stop talking about him. Stop talking about him. And maybe he'll do the same about you, but you not, because you know that regardless of how quote unquote dead he is, that his name alone is what brings people in. It brings the lovers in, it brings the haters in, but most importantly, it brings you money. Drake could never say Joe's name again and be perfectly fine as far as the amount of money that he makes. Joe cannot just not bring up Drake's name and be perfectly fine. What the fuck are we talking about? And when people in the comments are like, oh, well, it's a trending topic, is he not supposed to talk about it? Tell Joe that shit. Tell Joe that. So, tell Joe, so you're supposed to constantly say my name and talk about me and talk about how terrible of a person I am, and I'm not supposed to say nothing back? We gotta keep the same fucking energy. And like Wayno said, the reason why I'm done with this whole thing is because, and I said this in all my other videos before, y'all are so deep in y'all bias that it's unbearable at this point. It's just unbearable. Like I said, as a fan of Drake, I am very aware, and I have to keep saying this, but I just want to make it clear. I am very aware of the trash nature of Aubrey Drake Graham. That man is so trash in so many ways. I could be here all day. And he fucked up in that battle in so many ways. I could do such a deep dive on that. But my whole thing that I always stand on is we gotta keep the same energy. We're not gonna make it seem like Drake throughout this whole battle is the only one between him and Kendra who's just made terrible moves. Now, yes, has he probably made the majority of the terrible moves? Yes, absolutely. But we're not going to sit around here and try to make it seem like Kendrick has not made some missteps or whatever. Like, even when it comes, I'll even use the Super Bowl as an example, how that could not be seen as a misstep, how he is such a corporate fucking darling, how he's in the pockets and in the beds with these fucking corporations, the same way that y'all tried to claim that Drake was the industry darling. No, that's really Kendrick, and he's really in bed and he's really in the pockets of these corporations. In my opinion, I feel like Kendrick is being used. Now, he might not mind being used, but I think Kendrick is being used as a pawn by UMG to make a greater point to Drake that we will make you and we will destroy you. And Kendrick is just being the vehicle that they're throwing the money behind. That's really it. But it's like, for us to sit up here and try to make it seem like it's only Drake that's making bad moves and that Kenny hasn't made one bad move, nothing has went off. The fact that Kendrick got on that Grammy stage and shouted out Drake after literally having a whole campaign about talking about how this person, you need to keep your women and your children safe. But then you want to sit on stage and shout out Dr. Dre? What the fuck are we talking about here? What are we talking about? That's my thing. We need to be calling it out from both sides. And I think when it comes to the media in particular, we got a couple of things that's going on to me. You got the people like Joe and Ebro who got something personally against this nigga, but try to make it seem like, no, it's not jazz. We're just talking about the greatness of hip hop. Y'all don't give two shits about this. Shut the fuck up. Then you got the other people who are completely dick riding, and let's talk about YouTube, the people who's dick riding all types of fucking crazy with their damn titles and stuff like that because they know it's gonna get them the clicks and the fucking views. Like, it's so many, it's like a lot of weird shit that's going on around right now, and that's why I don't care anymore. I'm out of it. I don't give a fuck. Have fun at the GNX tour. I hope y'all have a great time. TV Office is my shit. Drake seems like he's like killing it over there in Australia. The P&D album is supposed to drop tomorrow. I don't think it drops on DSP, so I probably will actually purchase. It's only like $8. I'm probably gonna actually purchase it. And that's just like kind of that on that. I'm tired of it. Like, Kendrick did the benediction. He said game over, right? So it's game over. Let's stop this talking about the talking in the back and forth. Let's stop all of this shit. Let's just stop altogether. And like, I would like to say also that like, as like quote unquote gatekeepers like Ebro or culturally critics or whatever, like Joe, whoever the fuck it is, it's like, y'all try to make it seem to me like y'all have no hand at all in like how we even got here. Let's talk about Ebro for a quick second. And this is what me and Ebro went back and forth about on Twitter like a couple of years ago, which is the fact that this is the thing. It's a couple, either A, you're lying, or B, you have literally no control, or like that's just like a lofty title, because Ebro is the program director of Hot 97, right? So to me, what that means is that either A, like I said, it's just a lofty title, right? And you don't really got no real obligations, or B, you're full of shit. Because how is it that you've been the program director of Hot 97 for God knows how long, and you feel, and you have felt forever that like Drake don't do what he's supposed to do? Why is that all that you play though? Hot 97, because I'm from New York, Hot 97 used to be the place where it was nothing but New York rap. It was actually boom bap New York rap when I was growing up, like in like the early 2000s. That's what all Hot 97 used to play. But my thing is, y'all have shifted so away. All of the shit that y'all talk about, like Ebro talking about Drake, like, oh, you still from Atlanta. Ebro, when the fuck does Hot 97 really play New York music? Y'all don't. Y'all do not support New York music like that. Y'all play Drake. Y'all play whatever the hell is coming out of Atlanta, and y'all now probably like the Cali and the Midwest. You don't even, as a program director, you haven't even cultivated your own radio station since you've been a program director to kind of reflect what you think that hip hop should look like. If you're the program director, that means that you have not full control, but that means that you have a lot of control over the music that's being played. And if you have felt like over the last however many years you've been fucking complaining about hip hop, but you yourself haven't done shit with Hot 97, the place that you're a program director at, to help change that or to help shift it a little bit. You haven't. You've played the fucking hits, which is mostly Drake. So just stop. You've contributed to. I'm sick of it. We're not gonna keep sitting up here and acting like Drake just became this big ass fucking person or whatever, and none of y'all niggas was complicit. Just like Wayno said, y'all sitting up here acting like y'all was not banging the music. Joe literally will break down Drake's albums like, we literally break down one song from Drake and turn it into a 45-minute thing. Y'all are just as complicit. Like, if I want to go with the role that Drake hasn't, like, which is bullshit, but let's just say y'all want to go with Drake has contributed to the downfall of hip hop. So then what did y'all do? Y'all helped that nigga too. Because it's cool. Because this is my whole thing. This is where I feel like the bullshit comes in. It's cool when everybody's eating. So Joe, you don't give two shits when everything you say about Drake, you're bringing in revenue because of his name. And Ebro, you don't give a fuck about Drake is so terrible, but you gonna play him. Why? Because it brings in the revenue. So at what point do y'all take a fucking stand? It's either about the bag or it's about the culture. But trying to play this middleman of now it's, oh, well, he's just been so bad for the culture. Okay, and how did you contribute with him being bad to the culture? Shut the fuck up, Ebro. Shut the fuck up. And shut the fuck up, Joe, too. Shut up. I done ranted for way too long. Y'all get in the comments, though. And y'all tell me what y'all think. I'm not bye.